Hotep, everyone. I'm Lewis Thomas III, and I am honored to share my research entitled Empowering Community, the Influence of Black Father Involvement on the Educational Outcomes of Black Boys. As an educator, researcher, school administrator, and Black father, my passion for this work is deeply personal. Throughout my career, I have witnessed the powerful role that parental engagement, specifically Black father involvement, plays in shaping Black boys' educational experiences and outcomes. Unfortunately, systemic barriers often limit these fathers' opportunities to engage fully in their children's education. Institutional biases frequently overshadow the positive contributions that Black fathers make in the academic and emotional development of their children. This research arises from my dedication to confronting misconceptions and showcasing the strengths, challenges, and effects of Black father involvement on the education of their sons. By elevating the voices of Black fathers and leveraging evidence-based insights, I am aiming to foster meaningful discussions that inform educators, policymakers, and community leaders on effective strategies to support Black fathers and their children's educational experiences. Today's presentation will briefly walk through the purpose of this research, methodology, key findings, and recommendations for policy and practice. I hope this discussion informs and inspires actionable change in how we view and foster parental engagement, particularly in the Black community and throughout the diaspora. It is my hope that this applied research project dissertation will have a lasting impact on transforming the systems that support Black children. The purpose of this study is to explore the role of Black fathers in shaping the educational outcomes of Black boys. While research consistently highlights the positive impact of engaged fathers on academic achievement, the unique challenges Black fathers face, such as systemic racism and white supremacy, and economic constraints often limit their opportunities to participate meaningfully in their children's education. Therefore, this study seeks to answer three critical research questions. How does Black father involvement influence Black boys' academic achievement? What factors facilitate or hinder Black father involvement? And how does self-efficacy shape their roles in supporting their children's educational journey? Prior studies show that when fathers are actively involved, their children demonstrate higher academic performance, motivation, and resilience. However, systemic barriers, including racial discrimination and economic hardships, continue to pose significant obstacles. This study aims to illuminate these challenges while providing actionable insights for educators, policymakers, and community leaders. To provide a comprehensive understanding of Black father involvement, this study utilized a mixed methods approach to capture statistical trends and archived personal narratives. The qualitative data included archival research, which was conducted to examine historical and contemporary influences on Black father engagement. The data analysis included thematic mapping and visual analysis, which were employed to synthesize findings and highlight key themes like self-efficacy, community support, and systemic barriers. This blended methodology ensured a holistic view of the lived experience of Black fathers, rather than just numbers. It allows us to connect personal stories with broader systemic patterns. This combination of methods ensures a comprehensive view of the lived experiences of Black fathers and their impact on their sons' education. The findings from this study revealed three major categories: facilitators of involvement, barriers to involvement, and impacts on educational outcomes. Some of the facilitators of involvement include community support. Mentorship programs and culturally relevant resources increase Black fathers' confidence and their engagement, according to Goings. Positive school relationships is another, right? Schools that actively create welcoming environments see higher father participation. And then finally, high self-efficacy. Fathers who believe in their ability to support their child's education are more involved in both academic and emotional aspects. B, the barriers to involvement include systemic racism, right? Discriminatory school policies, negative stereotypes, and lower expectations have created obstacles to father engagement, and I'll show you some of the data in a moment. Socioeconomic constraints, financial instability, and rigid work schedules limit opportunities for participation. And then finally, time constraints. Many black fathers struggle to balance job responsibilities with involvement in school activities. And then C, finally, the impacts on educational outcomes, right? This research confirms that when black fathers are involved, students earn higher grades, attend school more consistently, and display greater motivation. In addition, emotional and academic support also fosters resilience and identity formation, particularly in navigating systemic barriers. These findings underscore the urgent need for targeted interventions to dismantle barriers and empower black fathers in their children's educational journeys. Let's take a look at some of the data, right? Understanding these barriers of black father involvement. This graph highlights 4 primary obstacles that limit black fathers' engagement in their children's education. These barriers have been reported across multiple studies and are consistent with previous research findings, right? If we take a look at the breakdown of some of the findings on the graph below, right, the most significant barrier affecting nearly 3/4 of surveyed fathers includes racial biases in schools, lower academic expectations for black students, and negative perceptions of black fatherhood. As you can see, it's about 74% in the red. Fathers often feel unwelcomed or dismissed in school settings, leading sometimes to disengagement. Time constraints, right in the orange, as you can see, many fathers struggle to balance work responsibilities and school involvement, which produced about 65% of the study data. Limited access to flexible schedules, paid leave, or remote meeting options exacerbates this challenge. And then the third that I'm going to touch on are the institutional barriers, right? Schools often lack proactive outreach efforts. If you look, that produced about 56%. Many fathers report feeling uninformed about school events or discouraged from participating due to bureaucratic barriers. And so this thematic map provides a visual synthesis of my research findings, capturing the complex factors that have shaped black father engagement in their children's education. At the center of the map, as you can see, is black father involvement, which is directly influenced by both facilitators and the barriers. This involvement in turn impacts academic achievement and student success. Some of the key sections of this thematic map include the facilitators of black father involvement, community support, positive school relations, institutional support in parent-teacher conferences, school engagement and extracurricular activities. And barriers to black father involvement include systemic racism, right, time constraints and work obligations, lack of institutional outreach, which ultimately affects the academic achievement and student success. Next, we'll discuss specific recommendations for policy and educators to build on these findings. Based on these findings, I propose 3 key areas of action: policy recommendations, community-based initiatives, and future research directions. Some of the policy recommendations that I am proposing here are schools must adopt more culturally inclusive practices by training educators in culturally responsive pedagogy to foster welcoming environments for black fathers. In addition to that, community-based initiatives establishing mentorship programs and resource hubs to support black fathers navigating educational challenges. Developing father-specific workshops on academic and social-emotional support strategies. And then some of the future research directions should include conducting studies to assess the long-term impact of father involvement and exploring intersectional factors such as how race, economic status interact with parenting roles. These are important studies that must be undertaken to expand how we break down systemic barriers and create sustainable models of engagement, ensuring that black fathers have the support needed to play a meaningful role in their children's education. Finally, conducting this research has been enlightening and transformative. It has underscored the complex interplay of individual, community, and systemic factors that influence black fathers' involvement in the education of their black boys. Engaging with the narratives of black fathers through secondary and archival sources provided a rich and nuanced understanding of their experiences, shedding light on their resilience and commitment to their children's success. This journey also revealed the underrepresentation of black fathers in the literature, and highlighted the importance of amplifying their voices. By centering their experiences, this study challenges prevailing stereotypes and shifts the discourse toward a more equitable understanding of their roles in family and education. It is a testament to the value of transdisciplinary approaches in addressing complex social issues. The study's exploration of Black fatherhood and its profound influence on the educational outcomes of their sons has provided me with a platform to interrogate systemic inequities, highlight cultural resilience, and amplify voices often marginalized in academic discourse. As a Black father, I am intimately aware of this role's challenges and triumphs. The stories and data uncovered during this research often mirrored my experiences, navigating systemic barriers, advocating for my children's education, and balancing the demands of work and family. These reflections fueled my determination to ensure that the study not only added value to academic literature, but also provided actionable insights for Black fathers like myself and the institutions shaping our children's futures. Throughout this journey, the realities of systemic racism and socioeconomic challenges surfaced repeatedly, both in the literature and in my personal life. This research reinforced the need to challenge these narratives and to recognize the structural inequities that disproportionately impact Black families. However, it also reminded me of the resilience required to persist in spaces that often feel unwelcoming or dismissive of our contributions. One of the most enlightening aspects of this journey was the exploration of self-efficacy as a critical factor in Black father engagement. I have experienced how belief in one's ability to support and advocate for one's children can transform their educational outcomes. Whether navigating parent-teacher conferences, addressing racial bias within school systems, or instilling confidence in one's children, this research affirmed the importance of equipping fathers with the tools and resources to feel confident in their roles. The intersection of my identity as a Black father and my role as a researcher has been both challenging and often enriching. I've also sought to infuse the research with authenticity and lived experience, ensuring that it remains grounded in the realities of Black fatherhood. And this dual perspective has allowed me to approach the study with empathy and a commitment to advocacy, bridging the gap between theory and practice. As this research journey concludes, I am filled with hope and determination. The findings reaffirm the potential of Black father involvement and offer a roadmap for all of us to support and empower Black fathers. On a personal level, this journey has strengthened my resolve to continue advocating for equity and inclusion, not only for my son, but also for all Black boys and their families. This research is more than an academic exercise. It is a testament to the resilience, love, and commitment of Black fathers everywhere. It is a call to action for systems and communities to recognize and amplify our contributions, ensuring our children have the opportunities and support they deserve. Above all, it reminds us that our voices, our stories, our actions have the power to shape, to impact, and to change the future.